Chosen One, stop scrolling right now. This is not a random coincidence. You did not stumble onto this screen by accident. And at this exact second, a divine interception has been dispatched to interrupt your day because heaven has officially declared that enough is enough. Listen to the sound of these words. You have carried an unbearable burden for far too long. The exhaustion sitting in your bones is completely real. You felt abandoned in the wilderness while watching dishonest people celebrate their shallow victories. But every silent tear you shed in private was recorded in the eternal ledgers. They thought you were weak because you chose peace over revenge. They mistook your gentle patience for vulnerability. They plotted against you behind closed doors and smiled to your face. And while you were extending unmerited grace to everyone around you, they were secretly digging a pit intended for your permanent downfall. Hear this sacred decree with your entire spirit. The season of your silent suffering has officially expired. The spiritual courts of heaven have concluded their review of your trials. And the righteous verdict that has just been released will permanently shift the balance of power back into your rightful hands. Your enemies believed they had won the battle. They walked away arrogant, thinking their dark deeds would remain buried in the shadows forever. But their fate is now sealed. No amount of manipulative tears and no delayed apologies will ever rescue them from the bitter harvest they sowed with their own hands. You are a rare anomaly of light in a dark generation. You were chosen before the foundation of this world to break ancestral curses. Darkness recognized your divine mantle long before you understood your own power. And that is why the spiritual attacks against your mind came with such relentless and targeted fury. Do not look away from this urgent transmission. The deceptive forces that preyed upon your empathy are panicking right now. Their access to your energy has been terminated. If you swipe away, you risk walking blindly into the final counterfeit trap, but staying here will secure your breakthrough. A divine banquet is being prepared in the direct presence of your enemies. You will not have to raise your voice. You will not have to throw a single stone. The Supreme Court of the universe is stepping onto your battlefield to execute pure justice while you stand still in victorious silence. Every trap they set for your feet has turned into the very snare that will capture them. They exploited your kindness. They drained your life energy and walked away without looking back. But the universal scales are snapping back with ferocious precision to restore everything that was stolen from you. There is an astonishing mystery unfolding behind the veil right now. A divine transfer of spiritual authority and generational wealth has just been approved under your name. But there is a hidden mechanism you must grasp before you can step onto your new timeline. Without this sacred understanding, you will fail to preserve the blessing. You spent countless nights asking why the road had to be so agonizing and lonely. You wondered why every door slammed shut when you offered nothing but unconditional love. But those closed doors were never rejections. They were heaven executing an emergency quarantine to preserve your sacred frequency from toxic contamination. Your enemies are about to witness the true magnitude of who you are. The false masks they wore to deceive you are disintegrating under the blazing light of divine truth. Soon they will desperately search for the warmth you once freely offered, but they will encounter only the cold void of your permanent absence. The whispers they spread to tarnish your name have boomeranged back upon their own households. They thought your isolation meant you were defeated, but your isolation was a sacred training ground where your spiritual armor was forged. You did not crumble under the heavy weight, and you have evolved into an untouchable warrior. Take a slow and deliberate breath right now. Allow this monumental truth to anchor itself deep into your spirit. The days of begging for respect or validation are over. You are stepping out of the role of the wounded empath, and you are stepping into your destiny as the sovereign master of your reality. Before you can witness the complete collapse of the systems built against you, you must first uncover the sacred reason behind every wound you endured. Heaven is about to pull back the curtain on the unseen battles of your past. Pay close attention to what is revealed next, because the truth will set you free forever. Let us speak about what you felt in the quiet hours of the night. You woke up at 3 in the morning with your heart racing for no logical reason. Your mind was spinning with unanswered questions, and while the rest of the world was resting peacefully in their beds, you were sitting in the dark carrying a silent heaviness that nobody around you could ever comprehend. You looked at the ceiling and wondered why you felt so completely alone. You gave your pure heart to people who only knew how to take. You poured endless love into broken vessels that never showed gratitude. And every single time you tried to explain your deep exhaustion, they dismissed your authentic pain as mere sensitivity or overthinking. I want to validate every single tear you wiped away in secret. You are not losing your mind. Your intuition was never wrong. That strange heaviness in your chest was your spirit detecting the hidden deception around you. You felt the subtle shift in their energy long before their betrayal became visible in the physical world. They told you that you were too demanding. They accused you of being difficult because you stopped accepting their hollow excuses. But the truth is, your pure presence forced them to confront their own shallow lives. And when a toxic soul cannot control or manipulate your frequency, they will always attempt to paint you as the villain. Tap the like button right now as an intentional act of agreement with heaven. Do this to establish an immediate energetic shield around your sensitive spirit. Let the spiritual atmosphere register that you are claiming absolute protection today. You are anchoring your frequency in divine alignment, and no negative force can cross this sacred boundary. Remember the times you defended people who were silently tearing you down. You made countless excuses for their cruel behavior. You believed that if you loved them enough, they would finally change. But you cannot cure a toxic spirit with human empathy when their assignment is to drain your divine light until you are completely empty. You watched them take your kindness and treat it like weakness. They mocked your gentle nature behind your back while relying on your strength to solve their problems. And when you finally built a boundary to protect your peace, they had the audacity to call you selfish and act as if you were the one who betrayed the connection. Take a deep breath and let the false guilt fall off your shoulders right now. You did not fail those people. You did not ruin those relationships. You simply reached the divine limit of how much darkness your pure spirit was allowed to endure before heaven stepped in to pull the plug on those counterfeit ties. You carried the weight of generational trauma on your back. You absorbed the emotional poison of your family line without passing it down to anyone else. It was an excruciating role to play, and because you refused to participate in the toxic dysfunction of the past, you were labeled as the black sheep who did not belong. Think about the sudden endings you experienced over this past year. Lifelong friends suddenly vanished into thin air. Promising opportunities dissolved without any clear explanation. You felt stripped of everything that once gave you a sense of earthly security. And the silence from heaven felt like an agonizing desert with no end in sight. You asked why every door had to slam shut in your face so violently. Why did you have to lose your entire circle of companions in such a short window of time? There is a profound mystery behind those sudden exits. Darkness wanted you to believe you were cursed, but heaven had a completely different agenda for your life. You spent months mourning people who were secretly celebrating your downfall. You prayed for their healing while they were praying for your destruction. And even when your soul was bruised and bleeding, you still found the strength to offer a comforting word to strangers who crossed your path in everyday life. That level of resilience is not normal. It is the signature mark of a chosen vessel. The crucible of rejection was intense, but it could not extinguish the eternal flame within your soul. You are still standing today because the hand of the divine was holding you upright when everyone else thought you were about to collapse. Look at the strength you gained through the quiet storm. You learned how to sit with your own presence without needing the hollow applause of the crowd. You learned that being misunderstood by the world is a small price to pay for being chosen by the eternal light of truth and divine purpose. Do not weep over those closed doors and broken connections just yet. What felt like bitter rejection is about to be revealed as the greatest security protocol ever designed for you. The universe did not remove those people to punish you, and the next revelation will uncover the sacred machinery operating behind your pain. It is time to look at your entire journey through spiritual eyes. You spent years wondering why your road felt like an uphill battle while everyone around you walked on smooth paths. You blamed your own choices. You questioned your basic worth. And every single time you tried to fit into normal circles, an invisible wall seemed to push you back into the cold and quiet wilderness. Listen carefully to this divine truth today. What felt like bitter rejection was actually heaven executing the divine isolation protocol over your entire life. The universe had to pull you away from the collective noise before your sacred frequency could be permanently contaminated by the deceptive patterns of this world. You were never being punished by the Creator. You were being shielded from invisible spiritual landmines. The people who walked away from you were not taking your destiny with them. And although their sudden departure left an agonizing wound in your chest, heaven permitted that separation to preserve the rare light inside your spirit. Think about the toxic rooms you were once desperate to stay in. If those heavy doors had remained wide open, you would have settled for a tiny fraction of your true calling. You would have compromised your divine standards just to keep a fake peace. And you would have allowed parasitic souls to slowly siphon your life force until you collapsed. Heaven deliberately stripped away every single earthly crutch you relied on. The divine ensured that human help failed you so you would discover the limitless power within your soul. It was a brutal initiation to endure. But through that dark season of isolation, you learned that your authority does not depend on human approval or empty praise. You are the designated cycle breaker of your ancestral lineage. That holy assignment comes with an extraordinary weight that ordinary people can never comprehend. You had to confront the inherited dysfunction head-on. And by refusing to pass that bitter poison down to the future, you absorbed the generational shockwaves directly into your own spirit. The furnace of suffering did not come to destroy your true essence. It arrived to burn away the false identity and people-pleasing habits that society forced upon you. It dismantled your fear of being alone, and it forged an impenetrable spiritual armor around your generous heart so you could stand firm against the ultimate tests of your destiny. Take a slow and grounding breath right now. Understand that every closed door was a lethal trap you were guided away from. When deceptive people spread rumors about your character, heaven used their slander to build a protective wall around your territory. Their malicious intent became the very fuel that launched your awakening. You are no longer the wounded empath who begged for crumbs of respect. You survived the brutal winter of your soul without allowing bitterness to poison your pure heart. That is why the darkness trembles at your name today. You walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and you emerged as an untouchable warrior clothed in quiet authority. The long delays on your timeline were never evidence of neglect. Heaven was waiting for you to completely detach from the shallow desires of the herd. The immense blessing you are about to receive requires a leader who cannot be seduced by fake flattery. And through the crucible of solitude, you were molded into that incorruptible vessel. Every silent tear you wiped away in the dark has been converted into spiritual currency. The dry season of waiting has officially come to an end. The universal balance is restoring every lost year and every stolen opportunity. And the glorious breakthrough that is about to manifest will completely eclipse all the agony you experienced in the past. Now that your past has been vindicated and cleared, we must pull back the veil on the adversaries who plotted against you in the shadows. They truly believed they had buried your light beneath a mountain of betrayal. But they foolishly forgot that you are a divine seed, programmed by the Creator to rise through the dirt and conquer the landscape. There is a terrifying secret behind why toxic people despised your presence even when you showed them unconditional love. Your divine frequency was a blinding mirror that exposed the hidden rot inside their souls. And the quiet panic eating away at their peace behind closed doors right now is far more severe than they will ever let the public see. Stay focused and listen closely to what comes next. The spiritual scales have tipped permanently in your favor, and the courtroom of heaven is turning its gaze toward your oppressors. We are about to uncover the exact mechanics of their secret downfall, and you will understand why their desperate attacks can no longer touch your crown. Let us pull back the curtain on the people who tried to destroy your peace. They presented themselves as allies, but they were spiritual parasites feeding on your divine warmth. They watched you pour out your genuine kindness without asking for anything in return, and the moment they realized that your pure light could not be corrupted by their games, an irrational hatred was born inside their souls. Understand the root of their deep obsession with you. Toxic people do not attack ordinary individuals because darkness only attacks what carries substantial spiritual value. You carried an undeniable favor from heaven that they could never purchase with worldly wealth. And every single time you entered a room with quiet confidence, your sacred aura exposed the hidden fraud inside their fragile egos. They tried to dim your radiance through systematic manipulation. They used quiet, passive aggression, subtle, backhanded compliments, and calculated silence to destabilize your mind. They wanted you to doubt your divine calling. And when you refused to lower your standards to match their dysfunction, they launched vicious smear campaigns to ruin your good reputation in the eyes of others. They gathered in secret circles to discuss your life and mock your dreams. They thought that turning former friends against you would crush your spirit completely, but they failed to realize that when heaven marks a chosen soul for greatness, human gossip is completely powerless to stop the blessing. Every lie they told about you only accelerated your spiritual promotion in the courts of heaven. To declare that you no longer carry the weight of their sins, type 777 or "The victory is mine" down in the comments right now. Anchor your frequency into this unbreakable truth and let the universe know that you have severed all energetic ties with toxic manipulation. You are stepping into absolute authority, and no deceptive spirit can ever access your heart again. Look at where they stand today while you continue to grow in wisdom and strength. The dynamic between you and your adversaries has permanently shifted. They used to feast on your emotional reactions and drain your precious time. But the exact moment you went completely silent and withdrew your presence, their entire illusion of control collapsed into utter chaos and confusion. A toxic person cannot survive without an empathetic host to validate their false pride. For years, you were the endless source of grace that kept their chaotic world from falling apart. You covered their flaws. You carried their emotional burdens. But when you walked away without looking back, they were left alone in an empty room to face their own unhealed darkness. Behind their fake smiles and polished social facades, an intense panic is quietly spreading. They monitor your life from fake accounts and ask mutual acquaintances about your progress. They desperately search for any sign that you are struggling without them. But every report they receive proves that your life is expanding with peace, clarity, and undeniable spiritual abundance. The Supreme Court of the universe has placed an impenetrable wall of fire around your mind and spirit. You are no longer available for their manipulative mind games. You do not argue. You do not explain yourself to foolish minds. Your silence has become a terrifying weapon that reminds them of the sacred light they deliberately threw away and can never touch again. They thought they were burying you alive in a pit of sorrow and isolation, but they were completely blind to the divine law of spiritual resurrection. You were not a fragile victim waiting to be destroyed by human cruelty. You were an anointed seed carrying the blueprint of victory, and their betrayals merely pushed you deep into the fertile soil of divine destiny. Their authority over your emotional state is completely broken. The invisible chains of trauma bonding have dissolved under the weight of divine truth. You can see through their shallow disguises with absolute crystal clarity. And the deep realization that you have permanently outgrown their toxic games is driving them into an inescapable cycle of bitter regret and psychological torment. Take a slow and deep breath as this profound truth anchors itself in your spirit. You won the spiritual battle the moment you refused to return hatred for hatred. By keeping your heart pure and your boundaries solid, you handed the entire courtroom battle over to the living God. And when heaven steps onto the battlefield, the defeat of the wicked is swift and absolute. Their power over your life is completely gone, but the monumental spiritual shift does not stop there. Pay close attention to what unfolds next, because the undeniable physical signs of their collapse are manifesting this very minute. The universe is about to show you what happens when the righteous scales of justice finally snap back with ultimate and undeniable precision. The spiritual chessboard has completely flipped. The invisible shift in the heavens is now producing tangible results in the physical world. You can feel the change in the air. And while the wicked spent months celebrating an illusion of triumph, the undeniable laws of universal justice have begun to dismantle their fragile kingdom stone by stone. Look at the first unmistakable sign of their downfall. The atmosphere in their camp is suddenly filled with unexplainable confusion. They are waking up in the dead of night with an overwhelming sense of dread. Their minds are restless, and no matter how much they try to distract themselves with shallow pleasures, an icy fear tells them that their reckoning is underway. When they betrayed you, they foolishly severed their own divine life support. They arrogantly believed that their blessings came from their own clever schemes. But they never understood that your anointed presence was the umbrella shielding their lives from total disaster. Your pure energy was the secret fuel that kept their chaotic world afloat. Now that your presence is completely gone, their spiritual bankruptcy is fully exposed. Every project they touch is beginning to crumble. Their relationships are turning into toxic battlegrounds where they tear each other apart. And the very resources they hoarded while mocking your generosity are slipping through their fingers like dry sand. Pay close attention to the second sign taking place right now. The public narrative is turning violently against them. The same people they manipulated to slander your name are beginning to see through their elaborate lies. Truth cannot remain buried forever, and the mask of fake righteousness they wore to fool the crowd is shattering into 1,000 pieces. The dark words they released into the atmosphere have boomeranged back onto their own households. The universe does not forget an unpaid debt of malice. Their downfall is not a cruel twist of luck. It is the righteous harvest of every bitter seed they planted in your path while you were weeping in silence. Notice how quiet and anchored your soul feels in this exact season. You no longer feel the urge to spy on their lives or prove your innocence to anyone. You do not celebrate their agony with petty spite. Because a true master of reality operates with calm certainty, knowing that divine law requires no human help to execute perfect justice. A third sign is the heavy paranoia creeping into their daily routines. They walk into rooms looking over their shoulders. They know in their spirit that they crossed a boundary with a protected child of light. They remember the warnings they mocked in their arrogance, and that nagging guilt is eating away at their health and destroying their inner peace. They tried to paint you as weak and fragile, but now they are the ones crumbling under pressure. Their pride is completely useless against the supreme verdict of heaven. Every trap they laid to ruin your career or break your family has reversed its direction, and they are falling directly into the deep pits they dug for your innocent feet. While their foundation is turning to dust, your territory is expanding with supernatural speed. Closed doors from your past are swinging wide open without any struggle. People of genuine honor are stepping into your path to offer unexpected favor. And the peace you fought so hard to defend is multiplying in your spirit every single day. The heavenly courts have authorized a total transfer of what was stolen from your lineage. You are stepping into an unprecedented era of restoration and generational wealth. Every single hour of loneliness you survived is being converted into spiritual authority. And every silent tear you cried in the wilderness is now turning into an overflowing river of divine favor and public honor. Your adversaries are being forced to watch your glorious elevation from a humiliating distance. They are realizing with profound horror that their betrayal did not break you. It only forced you to awaken to your true power. A banquet of divine favor is being set before your eyes, and they have no choice but to witness your triumph. They are growing desperate to find an opening back into your sacred space. They finally realize that their life is empty and dark without the warmth of your pure frequency. But heaven has permanently revoked their access. An angelic seal has been placed over your timeline, and their toxic energy can never cross that sacred threshold again. Take a slow and grounding breath as you absorb this undeniable truth. You are an untouchable chosen one whose victory was written before the beginning of time. You do not need to look back at the burning bridge. And because heaven has permanently taken charge of your vindication, your spirit is completely free to walk in absolute peace. The enemy knows their time is up, which means their most dangerous deception is about to be deployed. When a toxic soul realizes they have lost the war, they will attempt one final move to drag you back down. Pay close attention to what comes next. Do not step into this fatal trap, because your entire breakthrough depends on how you handle this moment. The enemy has reached the end of their options. Every single manipulation tactic they used in the past has failed to break your resolve. They know that your light is rising while their darkness is collapsing into ruin. And when a toxic spirit realizes they can no longer defeat you through direct attacks, they will always resort to their most cunning and dangerous disguise. Be on high alert in this exact hour. This is the deceptive moment of the counterfeit apology. You might receive a sudden late-night text message from someone who discarded you months ago. They will sound surprisingly humble and soft, and they will claim that they miss your beautiful energy and just want to check on how your heart is doing. Listen to me very carefully right now. That message is not genuine repentance. That is a desperate hoovering attempt designed to test if your spiritual door is still unlocked. They do not regret the agonizing pain they caused in your life. They only regret that they no longer have free access to the divine favor that surrounds your presence. 90% of chosen ones stumble right at this specific finish line. Your natural empathy wants to believe that people can truly change overnight. You want to see the good in everyone. And when they show up looking bruised and sorrowful, your kind heart instinctively wants to step in, comfort their pain, and rescue them from their misery. Do not take the bait. If you open that door again, you are stepping directly in front of the arrows of divine judgment meant for them. Heaven is currently dealing with their arrogance. And every time you rush in to save a toxic person from the consequences of their actions, you interrupt the sacred lesson that the universe is delivering. They are not looking for reconciliation. They are looking for spiritual resuscitation to revive their dying pride. They want to suck your fresh oxygen to survive their own spiritual winter. And the moment you lower your guard and invite them back into your space, they will resume the very same cycle of disrespect and covert sabotage. Remember the cold indifference in their eyes when you were at your lowest point. They had zero mercy for your tears when you were begging to be treated with basic human decency. They slept peacefully while your heart was shattered into pieces. And they walked away without offering a single word of genuine apology when you needed them most. Now that the cosmic scales are balanced, they want an unearned pardon. They want to bypass the crucible of true repentance and jump straight back into your abundant harvest. But heaven has marked them as disqualified. The sacred banquet being prepared for your future has no available seating for the wolves who tried to devour your soul. Your silence must remain absolute. Do not send an angry message explaining your boundaries. Do not demand an explanation for their past lies, because even an emotional reaction of anger gives them the validation they crave, while complete silence communicates that they no longer exist within your energetic realm. Let your absence become their permanent punishment. When you refuse to respond to their manipulative bait, you force them to sit in the deafening echo of their own hollow words. They will realize that your warmth is gone forever, and that chilling realization will be far heavier than any harsh words you could ever speak to their faces. Take a slow and deep breath right now. Visualize the energetic cords attached to your past dissolving into pure white light. You do not owe them your attention. You do not owe them your forgiveness on their shallow terms. Your sole assignment in this final hour is to stay positioned in quiet authority and keep your eyes forward. The universe is demanding a clean separation before the floodgates of abundance open. You cannot carry the dead weight of toxic attachments into your promised land. Every old alliance must be severed at the root. And by walking away without looking back, you prove to heaven that you are truly ready to steward generational wealth. Look at how far you have come from the broken person who questioned their own sanity. You have graduated from the school of suffering. You have mastered the art of divine detachment, and the radiant peace resting upon your countenance today is proof that no weapon formed against your destiny shall ever prosper. Their season of harvesting their bitter fruit is about to hit full force. The divine decree has been issued across the spiritual realms. There is no appeal left for those who deliberately plotted against an anointed child of the light. And the supreme justice of heaven will now execute its final mandate without delay or hesitation. The courtroom has heard enough testimony. The evidence of your pure endurance has been accepted by the highest throne. The gavel has officially fallen in the heavenly courts. Step forward right now, chosen one, and receive the ultimate revelation that will permanently seal your victory and elevate your status forever. The supreme verdict has been delivered across the cosmic courts. The gavel has struck the golden stand of divine justice. And from this very second, the decree over your life is completely irreversible because the Creator has stamped your name with sovereign favor. Your long season of waiting has ended. Here is the great secret you have waited to understand. You never had to lift a physical weapon against your oppressors. You did not have to return their insults. And every single time you chose silence over petty retaliation, you allowed the law of frequency reflection to mirror their hatred back onto their own lives. Your pure frequency was the spiritual fire that exposed their darkness. They thought they were attacking a vulnerable human being, but they were actually striking the living presence of divine light. And when darkness collides with raw truth, the darkness is instantly consumed by the very energy it tried to extinguish. Their fate is now permanently sealed. The heavenly ledgers have closed on their chapter of rebellion. No clever excuses will change this outcome. And no matter how desperately they attempt to undo their past actions, the spiritual consequences of their malice are falling upon them with total and absolute accuracy. Look at yourself in the mirror of truth today. You are no longer the wounded empath who cried in isolated rooms. You are no longer begging to be understood by blind eyes. The fierce crucible of suffering has forged your spirit into an untouchable warrior clothed in pure dignity and calm spiritual authority. You are the sovereign master of your own reality. You command the atmosphere wherever you walk without uttering a single loud word. People feel your quiet power before you speak, and the negative spirits that once tormented your thoughts are now forced to flee whenever your presence enters the sacred space. Feel the miraculous shift surging through your body right now. The heavy tightness in your chest is turning into boundless freedom. The exhaustion in your mind is dissolving into radiant peace. And the supernatural frequency of total victory is vibrating through every single cell of your physical being. The ancient scrolls written concerning your lineage have been unsealed in heaven. Generational poverty is broken off your family name forever. The curse of premature failure is completely shattered, and the vast blessings that were stolen from your ancestors are rushing into your hands like a mighty waterfall. Your former adversaries are sitting in the audience of your elevation. They are watching you receive the keys to rooms they thought you could never enter. They are seeing your joy multiply, and the overwhelming realization that they lost their greatest blessing is crushing their proud hearts into silent dust. You do not have to look back at the rubble of your past. The bridges of deception have burned down behind you. You are stepping onto a brand new timeline of undeniable abundance. And every step you take from this moment forward will be guided by the flawless wisdom of divine favor and unshakable protection. A banquet of divine honor has been prepared in the presence of your enemies. The Creator is anointing your head with the oil of gladness. Your cup of abundance is overflowing onto everyone around you, and the peace guarding your heart will remain impenetrable for the rest of your earthly days. The trials you walked through were not meaningless accidents. They were divine calibrations designed to expand your capacity for wealth, influence, and spiritual dominance. You were tested in the furnace of affliction. And because you remained faithful in the hidden season, heaven is rewarding you openly before the world. Stand tall and receive the crown of your spiritual elevation. You have conquered the illusions of fear and intimidation. You have broken the heavy chains of past manipulation. And you are walking into your true identity as a chosen vessel of light whose radiance will illuminate generations yet to be born. The divine verdict against your adversaries has been sealed in the heavenly records. But you must understand that the darkness will attempt to steal this peace the second your screen goes dark. It will try to make you doubt what was decreed, and that is why you must actively stake your claim in the physical world. Do not allow this anointed frequency to evaporate into thin air. You have reached the sacred threshold of your breakthrough. The victory is already won in the spiritual realm, but it must be anchored into the earth with bold intentionality. You are being called to participate in the final divine closing ritual. Sexeps. The atmosphere is charged with the power of total vindication. Take one final grounding breath and prepare your spirit for what comes next. The eternal seal must now be placed upon your destiny. Listen to the sacred words of the final decree, because your permanent transition begins right now. You have stepped through the ancient doorway of transformation. The heavy chains of the past are lying broken on the floor behind you. You do not need to look back. And as you stand in the brilliant dawn of your new reality, the entire host of heaven is bearing witness to your righteous elevation. The trial is finished, and your innocence is proclaimed throughout the cosmos. Your enemies will never cross this threshold into your promised territory. The spiritual borders around your life are fortified with divine fire, and no weapon fashioned against your destiny will ever find a target in this sacred space again. Feel the sacred calm resting over your soul. You are an untouchable vessel of pure light and quiet authority. You broke the toxic cycles that held your lineage in bondage for centuries, and the generations that come after you will walk in freedom because you were brave enough to endure the silent crucible. Now is the moment to anchor this victory into the physical world. Do not let this anointed frequency slip away into the noise of ordinary life. Speak your truth into the atmosphere with absolute clarity, and let the spiritual realm hear your voice, taking rightful ownership of the blessings prepared in your name. Declare your sovereignty with unshakable authority down in the comments right now. Write the words, "I am chosen, my enemies are defeated, and my season of favor has arrived." Type Amen with your whole heart to seal this reality into your physical timeline and lock the doors against every dark influence. Your declaration is not just random words on a screen. It is an undeniable spiritual signature in the courts of heaven. When you type those words, you establish a physical anchor for your miracle. You tell the entire universe that you have completely detached from the past and accepted your crown. Hit the subscribe button right now to permanently anchor your presence within this divine frequency. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a transmission of light. By aligning your mind with this sanctuary, you create a powerful daily receiving station where your soul will always find strength. If this message brought tears of relief to your eyes, do not keep this great blessing to yourself. There is another chosen soul wandering in the dark wilderness right now. They are weeping in secret and questioning their worth. And by sharing this sacred video with them, you become a divine messenger of hope. Sowing the seed of light into someone else's life will multiply your own harvest beyond measure. The universe always rewards a generous spirit that seeks to uplift the brokenhearted. When you help another warrior remember their identity, your own spiritual armor becomes brighter and impenetrable to every form of deception. Walk forward into your days with your head held high. You do not need to explain your quiet confidence to people who are determined to misunderstand you. Your presence alone will carry the undeniable weight of divine authority, and the peace in your eyes will be an enduring mystery to those who sought your downfall. Let the adversaries fade into the distant background of your past. Do not harbor bitterness or resentment against the souls who wounded you. Their chapter in your story has been closed by the finger of God. and the righteous justice of heaven will oversee their path while you soar into unlimited abundance. The doors of supernatural prosperity are swinging wide open before you. Opportunities that once seemed impossible will locate your address without any striving on your part. You will be invited into rooms of influence, and the resources of the earth will flow effortlessly into your hands to fulfill your mission. Take one final and deep grounding breath into your lungs. Release all remaining tension and surrender every outcome to the divine will. You are deeply loved, fiercely protected, and permanently elevated above every shadow of fear. The Creator of the stars is watching over your steps with eternal joy. Rest in the profound knowledge that your victory is eternal and absolute. The seal of heaven is upon your forehead, and your light will never be dimmed again. Go forth in power, walk in sovereign peace, and embrace the magnificent future that was prepared for you since the dawn of creation. May divine blessings overflow in your home and surround your family with an unbreakable shield of favor. May your intuition grow sharper with every passing day as you listen to the still, small voice within. You have overcome the darkness, you have won the battle, and your glorious dawn has arrived. Thank you for honoring this sacred transmission with your pure spirit and presence today. Remain rooted in the stillness of your heart and never doubt the holy calling on your life. Until our paths align again in the next divine message, stay grounded in peace and know that all is well with your soul.